We're on day 23 of our 60-day healing journey to establish inner union. We are working to stop the self-abandonment, to find inner alignment, to become more centered and grounded, calling back our power, realigning the pieces of who we are. We are on day 23, and the affirmation is, I listen before I act. How often do you just act without listening to the whole story, without gathering all the information? How often do you just respond? Are you missing out on key information because you are responding so quickly? Because you don't take the time to get all the pieces. Many times we can lose focus or lose out on blessings because we don't take the time to process information. Sometimes you have to let things sit with you. It might mean that you need to sleep on it. It might mean that you need to write some things down, whatever it takes for you to be able to process everything. For myself, I have to sleep on things before I just make a decision. Because if I make a decision immediately, if I'm listening and I respond immediately, especially if it's something very important, most of the time it's based off of my emotion. And so when I sleep on it, it's like my brain starts calculating all the pieces, processing all the information, and then the next day I can go by how things feel to me. Because I feel in my body, I'm a very empathetic person, and so I can feel situations, but I have to like play it back in my mind a lot of times for me to be able to process it. So I can like see the different cues, listen to the tone of the voice of the person who was talking to me, just gather all the information together. So how often are you acting before you listen? We have to start listening. A lot of times we want to talk and we don't want to listen. But that's not good communication. Good communication is when you're able to listen as well. And a lot of times people get angry and then they just want to act. But we could be throwing blessings out the window. What do they say? Throw the baby out with the bathwater? You could be throwing out something very important or missing out on something very important because you're just acting. Being reactive is very unstable. And in this journey, we are working on forming stability. We are working on balancing the masculine and feminine aspect of ourselves. And that masculine aspect is your ability to be stable, to be grounded, and to be centered, so that you don't just waver with sudden changes. When things get crazy, you just react. No, we want to listen. We want to take the information in, calculate it. Let your brain do what it needs to do to process it. Let your body do what it needs to do to feel everything, and then you act from there. So that may mean pausing for a moment, gathering all your power, and breathing, and then acting or responding. The somatic practice is breathe before movement. So before you do something, before you take your next step, just take a moment to breathe. We just want to go, go, go. We just want to just move, just go. And of course, we do have to keep our flow in life. We do have to keep the momentum and the movement. But if you think about it, we may be able to make better decisions if we take the time to breathe first. So the somatic practice is breathe before movement. When your phone rings, before you just jump and get it, get out of survival mode, breathe before you answer the phone. If somebody asks you a question, before you respond, take a moment to breathe. Just pause and be still for just a moment. It doesn't have to last for a long time, but this is giving you more control when you learn to breathe before you react. When you learn to listen before you respond and react before you become reactive. This gives you more control. Think about it. It's making the other person have to kind of dance to your beat a little bit. So they have to wait until you actually respond. What's wrong with waiting a couple of seconds? The visualization is intuition guided action. So you're going to visualize yourself letting your intuition guide you. This is something that I have really been, I am really, how do I say this? I am very adamant about listening to my intuition. If my intuition tells me no, I gotta listen. I cannot go against my intuition, because that is torment for me. It's an internal battle that I'm not willing to have. So I listen to my intuition. And the more you start listening to your intuition, the louder and stronger it starts getting to you. I apologize for the noise in the background. That's my little fountain. I need to add some water to it. So anyway, as I was saying, as you listen to your intuition more, it becomes louder, and you're able to, just hear more clearer. That internal GPS system that guides you. So visualize yourself listening to your intuition, and visualize that taking you where you need to go. Most of the answers are inside of us. We get the cues from outside of us. People do things to give us information. Resources are out there. But our intuition plays a very, very important part in who we are. So it's time for us to start listening to our intuition, especially when we're talking about living in purpose and walking with authority. The journal prompt is, when do I skip listening? Do you skip listening when somebody is irritating? You just don't like them, so you just don't listen. You act like you're listening, but it's just going in one ear, through one ear and out the other. Or maybe you're putting the phone down because you don't know what you don't want to hear. So when do you stop listening? Is it because you just don't want to listen? You don't want to be wrong? What is it? What's going to happen if you start to listen? We all go through this sometimes, because we just get agitated and irritated sometimes with people. And the easiest thing to do is just to ignore them and shut them out. So that's the general prompt. When do I skip listening? Just think about that. And if you're having like communication with someone, you're always ignoring them and skipping the listening part, then maybe you should reevaluate that relationship where you feel as though you need to always ignore them and skip listening to them. The practice is pause before acting once. So we're going to pause again. We're going to breathe before acting. Before you start, take a moment and breathe. Sometimes at work, I have to take little breaths throughout the day, like little breaks, sorry. I'll go take a pause and just walk away for like 5 minutes so that I can get control. Because if I'm going through the routine all day, sometimes it feels like I'm being pulled into somebody else's cycle. I'm just constantly trying to respond to somebody else. So what I do is I step away and I breathe. So that I can become grounded and I can have control over myself. Because that's the worst thing to do, is every day have somebody else controlling you. You feel powerless that way. And one way to regain your power is in the breath, taking a moment just to breathe and becoming centered. The holistic tip is we're going to get some natural light exposure. So we want to go outside for at least 15 to 30 minutes and get some good old sunlight. Sunlight is so good for you. If you're feeling sad, it's really good for you. If you're able to, just sit there and let that sun bathe you. I tell people, me and the sun have a relationship. I'm not worrying about the sun burning me up. I feel like the more I sit in the sun, the healthier I get. I also feel like I'm getting downloads when I go into the sun. Information is being downloaded into me. My skin loves the sun. I love how the sun feels. So I love to go into the sun and just sit there, sit in the grass and sit in the sun. So that's our natural holistic tip. We're going to get some natural light exposure. Like I said, it's great for your mood. Great for your mood. If you're feeling sad, go into the sunlight. The sunlight helps you. We're inside most of the time, a lot of times. And just being inside can just make you feel boxed in. So even just going outside, just being out there is breaking that cycle of boxing you in. Because when you're boxed in like that, just think about it. It's almost like a little prison. So going outside, getting some natural exposure, getting some freedom, getting from out of those four walls will do a lot of it'll help you out a lot. So that is our holistic tip. Get some natural light exposure. I hope you're all well. Thank you for everyone who has liked and subscribed to my channel. I will see you all tomorrow. Peace and love. Mwah.